It's supposed to be a religious institution, spiritual institution, and you still haven't spoken about God. And we are more than halfway through the lecture. Where is God in all of this? You have divided the universe into pure consciousness and everything which is an object of pure consciousness. The world out there, the body here, mind and intellect and memory, all of that, those are objects, and there's pure consciousness. Where is God? The knower or the known? These are two questions. Question number one, how many pure consciousnesses? How many witnesses? And number two, what about God? And Krishna answers both of these questions in the next verse. One of the most powerful statements I've come across in not only Bhagavad Gita, anywhere. In half a verse, answers both of these questions. He says, Kshetrajyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajyayor jnanam yattad jnanam matam mama. O Bharata, O Arjuna, know the pure consciousness in all of these, the knowers of the field, the kshetrajya, the Atman, the Sakshi, witness, in all of these bodies and minds, the consciousness there. Know that to be me alone. There is only one pure consciousness. One, avibhaktam cha bhuteshu, vibhaktam iva cha sthitam. Gita says, undivided in this multifarious world, appearing to be divided. You and I appear to be separate. Yet we are actually completely, totally one. Not at the level of the body, not at the level of the mind, at the level of what we really are, the pure consciousness, witness of body and mind. We are exactly the same consciousness. And the second thing is, Mam Vidhi, Krishna says, know this one consciousness shining through all of us to be God. Swami Vivekananda says, I worship that God whom the ignorant call man. Whom we regard as he's a human being, as an ordinary human being. Swami Vivekananda says that is ignorant. See the division between knowledge and ignorance. Look at the word, ignorant call man. If we do not know the truth about ourselves, we make this division between God and human. If we know, it's not that the human becomes God, that's blasphemy. It's that the true nature of the human is divine. The truth about us is divine. The famous Sufi poet, and the Sufis were great mystics. They did not come to it in this analytical way, in this philosophical way. They don't have the explanation for it, but they have come to this realization. And number of times, beautiful. I can't put it any better than the one Sufi poet says that when I searched for Allah, I found myself. When I searched for myself, I found Allah. Of course, some of them were indiscreet about it and announced it and then got severely punished for their pains. But yes, it is true. In Christianity, you will find any number of mystics, Eckhart being one of them, Meister Eckhart, puts it so beautifully. There's any number of sentences, very Advaitic. That the reality within us is God. That consciousness. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. And there is one more step to be taken, which I am not going to argue now because there is something more important I want to come to. The second step is kshetra kshetrajyayor jnanam yatta jnanam matam mama. The third step is, now you see the progression was, we isolated the pure consciousness from body and mind and we knew ourselves as pure consciousness. Stage 1. Stage 2, we find that the same pure consciousness shines through all of them. So now we have divided, and that pure consciousness is God. So now the division is between God and the universe, between consciousness and matter. And there's one more step to be taken, where it is shown that matter is merely a superimposition in Advaitic terms, an adhyasa upon this pure consciousness. And I'm not going to argue that. That is a subject in itself. This universe has no existence apart from the consciousness witnessing it. You see, we've started with the knower and the known being different. You know this thing and you are different from it. Now we finally abandon this distinction and we come to a position where the entire known universe shines within yourself. Shankaracharya, one of the very beautiful poem. Dakshinamurti Stotram. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam. He says, this universe is like a city seen in a mirror. I remember when I was a little kid, driving with my parents from the small town of Cuttack to Bhubaneswar. And in the evening, the lights, you can see the lights of the city from a distance. And you could see the whole city in the mirror of the car. I don't know why, maybe some samskara of past lives. I might have read Dakshinamurti Stotram in some past life. I was a little kid at that time. It struck me so powerfully, I never forgot that image. And years later, when I read the Dakshinamurti Stotra for the first time, you can imagine the thrill I got. The universe is like a city seen in a mirror. And what is that mirror? The mirror is pure consciousness. It is you yourself. But that universe means not you, not the body. The whole world, the body, the mind, the ego, memory, intellect, all of that shining in you, pure consciousness. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam. Immediately somebody will come, oh Shankaracharya, I've got this little question, not to doubt you, but in a mirror you need things outside and those are reflected in the mirror. So is there really a world which is reflected in consciousness? That's what it seems to be. So he immediately adds nijantargatam. He didn't have computer screens in those days, so he had to use a mirror image. He says this is a special mirror in which the city is inside the mirror. There's no city outside to be reflected in the mirror. Now this means two things. One, the city does not really exist. It's the mirror which exists. And second, nothing in the city is apart from the mirror. It's the mirror which is appearing as a city. In the same way, this entire universe does not exist apart from you. And you, the pure consciousness, you Brahman, you God. And nothing in this universe, the merest object, the smallest object, is different from that pure consciousness. I'm using my words with great care. Those who read Advaita philosophy, you will see. I'm not saying they are all pure consciousness. They have no existence apart from that pure consciousness. Just as this table has no existence apart from wood. Wood is the reality. The table appears in the wood. Similarly, that is the essence of Vedanta. Tat Tvam Asi. And normally I would end my talk here, but I've seen it causes problems. I used to do that earlier, and then I would get two kinds of questions. First, it's very inspiring, that's great, and later a little puzzled, slightly hurt, but it didn't work. I'm still the same. Well, after hearing this, and I'm sure it includes most of us, except a lucky few, we would still not be very satisfied with this because it sounds great, but what do I do now? If I do not feel this, if I do not realize it, I'm like that guy who has got the proverbial rich uncle who's left him $1 million. So he is a millionaire technically, but he doesn't know which bank has got hold of that $1 million and doesn't know where to get that $1 million. So he's a millionaire, but he has to beg. He has to beg for everything day to day because though he knows, and it's true that he's a millionaire, he has no access to it. And we may laugh at him, we will pity him, but that's us. That's just us. We have that problem. Now, how do I find that lock, the key which opens the lock to the $1 million? And Advaita here says, here is the utility of all sadhana, spiritual practice. Sri Ramakrishna, in one of the dialogues in the Kathamrita, there was a discussion going on about Vedanta. Sri Ramakrishna did not contribute till the very end. He sat quietly listening to all this talk about pure consciousness and all. And then he said, Kothagulo to bhalo, dharana hawa chai. At the end he says, all this is very good, but dharana literally means in English assimilation. You must assimilate the truth. All these words are good, but they must become real for you. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. They must become real for you. And how do you make it real? Well, Vedanta says the most important sadhana is exactly this, the Vedanta class, where you study the scriptures, think about it, and meditate upon it. It's called Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. I can already see that, well, Swami, I've been coming to the class for 30 years and still, it's not all that. And then Vedanta says that has to be supplemented by, he says, the mind is unable to grasp these truths. The prepared mind can grasp these truths straight away. The less prepared mind will get a good idea of this, will get a belief in this, a conviction, if not an experience. And the even less prepared mind will find all this theoretical, nice but theoretical. So what do we need to do? Meditation is important. So that is the next stage. They talk about upasana, meditation. Some course of meditation, some type of meditation, a prescribed form of meditation. There are various kinds available, but we need to concentrate our minds. We need to settle down. You do not know, I'm saying using the word you, because those who do meditate deeply, they know how much of a dream world we carry around ourselves.
Exactly.
Yes. And these days more so, because we have a virtual world too, which we are carrying around ourselves. I was in a Gita conference in London before this, and it's well known in Vedanta that our senses divert our minds, channelize our minds outwards. Paranchi khani vyatrinat swayambhu. God has created our senses such that our mind flows outwards. So we look outwards, we do not look inward. And there was this lady, a very erudite lady, she was the Indian ambassador to Spain at one time, and she organized this seminar on behalf of Nehru Place, Nehru Center in London. And in her talk she said, today we do not even look outside. We look at our screens all the time. Yes. Let alone looking inside, we do not look outside. We do not look at nature, we do not look at the faces of people. We look at our screens. So we need to meditate. We need to cut through the black fog of thoughts, tensions, ideas. There's this, I have got this experience of guiding people through stress management exercises. One thing I've noticed, and so sad, that many people fall asleep when I guide them through it, and they're apologetic about it afterwards. And I said, don't be apologetic. We are more tired than we know. Our bodies and minds, bodies are tired, but minds are very tired. We have tortured our minds for decades together with no rest. And they're so tired. If you're properly guided into meditation, relaxation, inevitably people tend to fall asleep. It's a very deep, relaxing sleep, but that's not the goal of course, Yoga Nidra, which I sometimes do. But anyway, meditation is important. Cutting through that fog. We are not awake, we are half asleep. It's said that the Buddha, after his Bodhi, when he was walking towards Sarnath to give his first sermon, a little shepherd boy saw him, and Houston Smith, he writes beautifully in the World's Religions. Many people have been asked, who are you? Very few have been asked, what are you? And this little boy looked at Buddha and asked, what are you? Are you an angel? The Buddha replied calmly, no. Are you a god? He says, no. Are you a human being? Buddha said, no. Then what are you? He says, I am the Buddha, I am the awakened. So simple, that I am awake. Meaning thereby, not that we are asleep, we are sleepwalking. We are daydreaming. We live in a fog. Meditation helps us to cut through this and focus. And one more thing, meditation requires a clear mind. A lot of people, especially in the West, go straight into meditation. In Ashtanga Yoga, in most ancient book of meditation is Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. And there the Ashtanga Yoga is prescribed. 8 steps. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana. Dhyana is the 7th step. Meditation is the 7th in a series starting from morality and discipline. And then comes Samadhi, the final step. So meditation is the 7th in a pretty steep learning curve. You cannot straight go into meditation. It requires a purified mind. It requires moral discipline. It requires hard work, setting our lives straight for a pretty long period of time. Then only meditation becomes easy. That's why meditation is so difficult. There was this person who went to a Swami to learn meditation. And he says, Yog Sikhaiye, teach me meditation. And the Swami said, well, first of all, you have to tell the truth and you have to be self-controlled and you should not harm anybody. Ahimsa, brahmacharya, satya. This person got impatient. Oh, I know all that. We learned it as children, it will be a good boy. But you please teach me how to sit asana and how to breathe and how to meditate. I want to learn those things. And these are all boring. And the Swami said it works only in Hindi, unfortunately, not in English. I'll translate. The Swami said, "Aap Ashtanga Yoga seekhenge ya Vikalanga Yoga seekhenge?" You want to leave out the first two. Anga means a limb. Ashtanga means 8 limbs. So you want to leave out 2 limbs of yoga: morality and discipline. Morality is yama, discipline is niyama. You want to leave those 2 limbs out and go ahead. So you want a fully formed yoga or a handicapped yoga or a person. You're crippling yoga. So apart from yoga, a moral life, a decent life, an unselfish life.
Exactly.
Yes. Swami Vivekananda said, the essence of morality is unselfishness. That which is, he put it, it sounds simplistic, but it's a very powerful sentence. That which is unselfish is moral, that which is selfish is immoral. It sounds very, very radical, very harsh, but he put it absolutely without qualifications. Unselfishness, nishkama karma. Upasana, meditation. Then jnana, shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Hearing these truths, reading about them, thinking about them, and meditating upon them. Then the flash of intuitive realization comes. I am not this body, not this mind. I mean, we just won't be singing Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, but it will be a fact. It will be a fact. Just as today I say, I am Sarvapriyananda because my passport says so, I will know that I am that which witnesses this temporary being called Sarvapriyananda. I am an eternal consciousness. Aurobindo put it so beautifully in his poem Savitri. He says, the world drowned in the white radiance of an immortal gaze. The world drowned in the white radiance. You see, consciousness then becomes a white radiance. Everywhere, it's blazing forth. Wherever you look, whatever you hear, whatever you see, it's all in consciousness. And the world drowned in the immortal glare of a white radiance. World are drowned in the white radiance of an immortal gaze. Immortal gaze is the eye of consciousness. That is what we are, and that is what we are working towards. Whether you come to religion or not, whether you come to Vedanta or not, whether you practice or not, consciously or unconsciously, we are all working our way towards what we already are. Vedanta says, praptasya prapti. That which you have already attained, that is what you will attain. And what will go away? Sorrow, suffering, the darkness of this world, the limitation. And the Vedanta says, nivrittasya nivritti. That which never was will be removed. That which never existed will be gone. Which was always with you, you will recover again. I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, to all the prophets and all the teachers of ages, to bless us, because we are all in our own ways walking the path. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram.
Yes, please have some tea and coffee in our refectory if you'd like that. All are welcome.
Yes.